Hi, this is Moi. I want to welcome you in and thank you for joining me for this free training about how to start a successful coaching business. And this applies even if you're still tied to your day job or have no clue where to begin. One of the key factors that differentiates a successful coach from one who is not is knowing when to take what steps. So, as we all know, a building cannot properly stand unless it's constructed on a solid foundation. So, that's what this training is all about. It's going to help you build that solid foundation for your coaching business before doing anything else. So, let's forget about the windows. Let's forget about the color that we're going to paint the house. Let's forget about the flooring. Let's forget about the paint and the windows, right? Let's forget about all that. Let's just go back to the basics. Let's just go back to the foundation so that our house has a solid foundation to build it on. Okay, I'm going to share with you some of the mistakes and lessons that I've learned through my own journey. And these lessons and mistakes really transformed my business. And one of the main reasons I absolutely enjoy coaching coaches is because I have been there and back. All right. Hey. So, just in case this is your first time hearing of me, my name is Moi Hongwe, and I'm really the lady who is known for simplifying the process of starting a successful coaching business. So that's the bottom line there. I'm also the creator of the Execution Hub, which is an online program, which you'll soon have access to. Yay. I typically work with 9 to 5ers who want to create that coaching business from their skill or expertise. So they're trying to transform that into an income. I also work with up and coming coaches and I work with established coaches. I am married to that crazy, funny, silly, hilarious guy you see on that picture. And we have that 20-month-old. Yay! He is absolutely a joy and amazing. And of course, he is keeping us busy. Okay, so now that you know me, right, let's talk about what we're going to cover today. So, we're going to make sure we know who our customer is because that is part of building that solid foundation. So, maybe you're thinking, I already know who my client is. No worries. Repetition is the mother of mastery. So we can just go ahead and repeat it here and perfect it, okay? And then we're going to talk about the problem that your customer has, right? So we need a clear understanding of the problem our customer currently has. Again, foundation, foundation, foundation. Then we will talk about the results they will be getting. So we're going to need to know what are the results my client is looking for. All right. Then after that, we're going to need to figure out how are we bridging that gap between where my client is right now with their problem and that result, which we'll call result paradise, that space that they want to get to, right? So what's that bridging this struggle land that they're in to result paradise? So we're going to talk about that. Then we have to test our foundation to make sure that it is solid and we're ready to build. And that's where validation comes in. And then after that, we'll kind of talk about the next step, right? Bam, bam. What do we do? Let's hit the ground running. Let's start layering those bricks and get our house built. All right. So I know you may be wondering, maybe you're like, is this really for me? Well, we can clear that up. All right. This training is for you if you have a skill or an expertise that you want to turn into income, right? This is for you if you're a 9 to 5er who really is ready to just break free from their day job, right? And this could mean maybe you want to stay on your day job, but you need an extra income. Or if you are an up and coming coach who is feeling stuck and overwhelmed, this is for you. If you're an established coach who wants to grow and expand their business, right? And this is established in the sense that you have taken in some paying clients. This is also for you if you're looking for another stream of income that will add value to people. All right. it applies to you as well if you have a coaching certificate. So maybe you already took a coaching program somewhere, but you're not sure what's your next step after all of that has been said and done. This would be for you as well. Now, at the same time, I know that this training is not for everyone. So with that in mind, let's get that cleared. This is not for people who do not want to put in the work. So this is not one of those get rich quick schemes. All right. And this is also not for someone who does not enjoy working with people, because that's what you're going to be doing, pretty much serving people at some capacity. So you want to be happy working with people. Okay. Now, let me share with you a part of my backstory that will kind of kick off our training. When I was beginning pursuing my coaching path, I wasn't very clear on what steps to take. Remember when I mentioned earlier that one of the key to success is knowing what step and when to take those steps. That is key. So I fell victim of not knowing. And what happened was I was then led to believe that certification was sort of that permission that I needed in order to get started in my coaching business. So I really want to address this topic because it's one of those that comes up over and over again. I can never escape this particular question. So I just want to encourage you at this time to stick around, because towards the end of the training, I will share with you the mistakes that I made around the certification topic and the things that I would kind of share with you that it would be nice to consider if certification is something that you're thinking of doing. Okay? All right. So now, I believe there are three main problems you probably have right now. Why? Because I had them. Why? Because my clients, those coaches that I coach, have the same problems. So I believe that there's three main problems you probably have now. Now let's talk about that, okay? So one is I don't know where to start. I don't know what my message is, right? So I don't know what my service is going to be. I don't know what my program, I don't know. I don't know if anyone even cares about what I have to say. Who am I to even want to say anything, right? And this one is a big one because we kind of start telling ourselves in our mind, you are not this big person. You're not that, right? So do not worry. I have you covered. I had the same problems. So throughout this training, I will address all three of these problems. They will be covered as we build our solid foundation because they're part of that foundation. Okay. Now, at the same time, there are four common misconceptions, right? There are all these misconceptions out here, but this will be the four common misconceptions that I just want us to kind of talk about so we are aware of them as we kind of think and believe them, right? The first one, I have to be an expert to start. No, you do not. You don't have to be an expert in your field or have all the answers. You just need to be a few steps ahead of your ideal client. They just want someone that can walk them through the process, keeping it simplified and just step by step. Okay. The second misconception is that the more people I include in my niche, the more business I can get. Kind of having that general niche where you're like, oh, I help everybody. As long as you have a pulse and you're breathing, you could be my customer. Well, here is the deal. The more specific you are, the more people know what you do, the more people know what to come to you for. Because the moment you are general and you're speaking to everyone, you are speaking to no one. And you will constantly run into, when you tell people what you do, they're like, oh, that's interesting, right? Because they really cannot place you. So you want to be as specific as possible. The third misconception, I need to have the outline and teaching strategy figured out right from the start. No, you do not. Your outline and strategy will come. Okay, you don't need that. And remember, we are working with the foundation here. We're dealing with the foundation. We do not need to know what curtains, we don't need to know all that. We're just here making sure our foundation is solid. So don't worry about the outline. That will come. The key though is you do want to be excited about the insight and sharing the insights and knowledge around this message. That is important. Now, the fourth misconception is that certification one again. I couldn't escape this. I was trying not to include it, but it's so high up there that I had to kind of talk about it again. So the misconception that I need to be certified before I can start my coaching business. Yep, that certification. This is, yeah. So if you stick around towards the end, I will cover this one. It's worth, the time to go through it. So let's get started. Yay. Okay. Grab a pen and paper. And let's jump right in. And if you want to grab a cup of coffee, tea, water, anything that helps you to relax and be present, right? Because here, what we're doing is we are creating that solid foundation, right? So it is mission critical for you to be here, be present. Let's just go back to the basics and get ready to make this happen. Okay, so first order of business, write down the answers to all of the following questions, right? So the only thing I ask for you, from you right here, is to write something. Even if you're not completely sold on it, if you're like, I'm not sure, but maybe, it's okay. Because if you have something there, at least there's something to work with. Even if it will completely change at some point, don't worry about that. We will take care of it, okay? So here we go. I'm going to ask you the question, write whatever answer, and we'll take care of it. The first question, who is my ideal client, right? Okay, so who is that ideal client? The second question, what problem is my ideal client currently struggling with? Okay, what are they struggling with? What is that problem that they have right now? Not last month, but right now. Number three, what are my ideal clients' aspirations? So what do they aspire for, right? Do they aspire to have just a peaceful, beautiful life? What are those aspirations, right? So yeah, what are those desires, those aspirations? And the last question, what can I teach my client to help them solve this problem? So we know what problem it is from number two. What is that thing that I can come and teach to bridge that gap to get to the result? Okay. And as you're answering, if I'm too fast, just kind of pause the video so you can have the answer. It's important that you have something written, so at least with something to work with, and also see where your mind is at, right? Because if it's blank, then it's like blank. Okay. So let's go over the answers. Number one, who is my ideal client? Now, this is the starting point. This is a critical part of our foundation because all other things are built from here, right? All the other things are built from here. Think about the program you will create, or maybe the book that you're going to write, or the coaching service that you will have. Think about the marketing language that you're going to use, the copy that you have on your website. All these things will come to life once you've identified who it is that you're serving. So this is number one before anything else. So this is mission critical to have clarity around this, because it'll simplify a whole bunch of other things that will come. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. So who's your customer? So you could, here are some examples right there that you can see, and you can go as specific as you see on career women ages 30 to 45. That's very specific. And another thing, you can have more than one, is you can see influencers and small business owners. Now, of course, it has to make sense if you're going to put them together like that. It means they're speaking the same language, right? So I will use my example throughout so you can kind of see. So for me, I help 9-to-5ers and new coaches. So that's what I would say. That would be that ideal client. That is my who, right? And when I say new coaches, that can be up and coming coaches. We'll talk more about that later. But here, let's just figure out who that is, right? Whether it expands or does whatever, that comes later. But now, as we are just building our foundation, let's identify who that is. The second question is, what problem is my client currently struggling with? Now, here is something to keep in mind. Your ideal client is going to buy from you when you offer a solution to a problem that is important enough, right, for them that they're willing to pay to get the results. So you want to be clear that this is not a nice to have solution, but this is a must have, gotta have, because we all have problems. And there's some problems that you're like, I don't have to pay for that problem to get away. It's okay. I will figure it out, right? So you don't want your product to be that, because that means nobody's willing to buy. Okay. So here are some examples. Examples are right there, right? Specific examples that are clear. So you're able to know if you fit in them or you don't. So what is the problem that my client has? So the bottom part, that's mine, my real description. So mine, who have a skill or expertise they want to turn into income, but they don't know where to start. So their problem is they have this idea, they have the skill, they have this expertise, they have the story, experience, whatever. They want to turn this into an income, but they're like, where do I start? Okay, so this is not a nice to have. This is, I gotta have this so I can create my business, you see? Okay, so let's move on to number 3. What are my ideal clients' aspirations? Now, this aspirations are essentially what are my ideal clients' results or benefits, right, that they will get from this thing that I'm going to teach. So I want you to think of it this way. How does my client's life look after my program or service? Do they make more money? Do they look better? Do they feel healthier? Do they have more time? Are they more stable financially? So that's what you want to be looking at. That's the lens you want to be looking. Like, how does their life look better, right, after they have gone through my program? And here's some examples. You will see those. I put them there for you to read through. But I'll talk about mine specifically. So this is what's going to happen after they go through my program. And the nice things about the aspirations is they can be as many as possible. The key is that it must be a must have, right? And it has to be practical, obviously. So, in other words, as a result of taking your program, they will have what? As a result of taking mine, they'll be able to break free from their 9 to 5. They'll be able to create financial and money, and that's supposed to say time. Okay, so I apologize for that. So that's supposed to say create financial and time freedom for themselves and their loved ones. Live a purposeful life while transforming others. So that's what the results my clients will have. Okay, so that's what you want to look at. What are my clients going to have? Again, this is our foundation. So we have to have a solid foundation before we start looking at the pretty websites and everything else. Okay, so let's do a recap of what we have here. And I'm just going to use my example specifically. Okay, so I help 9 to 5ers who have a skill or expertise they want to turn into income but don't know where to start. So I help so they can, the results, right? So they can break free from their 9 to 5 job, build time and financial freedom for themselves and loved ones, and transform lives. So we're coming from that red block here. This is where they are right now with their problem. And we are going to take them to the green here through that arrow. Okay. So that's what we have right now from question 1, 2, and 3. So let's look at question 4. Where does question 4 come in here? Okay. What can I help? Or how can I help them, right? So what can I teach or what service can I provide to my client so that I can help them solve this problem? So this is where you're coming in, and this is really the time to leverage your know-how, your core skills, your passion, purpose, story, experience. This is where it all comes in. In fact, it's usually those areas that are so simple to you that your audience are looking for, that they want someone to provide a step-by-step framework to get them from point A, which is where they are right now with their current problem, to point B, which is the desired result. So what's going to bridge that gap? What's that thing you're going to teach? So that's what that is. So you want to look at what you have, right? And remember, you do not have to be a foremost expert, right? This is really worth repeating because this can be a sticking point when our mind starts saying, well, what do you know? You know, you don't have a PhD in this or whatever. So remember that. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Again, those are there for you to help you kind of get your brain going and to help you think. And I'll use mine specifically. So I teach them how to create a profitable and purposeful business from scratch. That's what I do. So that is what's going to bridge the gap from where they are right now, which is, oh, I don't know where to start. I have this idea, to, oh, I am breaking free of my 9 to 5. I now have financial and time freedom. I can now serve people and transform lives, right? So the thing that will bridge that gap is teaching them how to create a purposeful, profitable business from scratch, right? So I want you to look at your idea from that lens and kind of see what that looks like. Okay, so let's go back. As I just mentioned, I help 9 to 5ers. We know what the skill, we know what we're teaching them, and we know the results. Okay, so just look at that and see if that helps you kind of think, get some ideas if you're not there yet. So just to wrap that up, you get to a place where, so whether it's going to be a program or service, or maybe you're going to write a book, or maybe you're going to, whatever it is that you're going to be doing in that space, that's where at this point you should be at that point where you're like, okay, so I'm going to be teaching how to create a profitable and purposeful business from scratch. And as much as I will I have a program around this, I can coach this as well. Because now when you do a one-on-one, you have a framework that you follow in your teaching. So you can pretty much use that on coaching. You can use that framework as you write your book, right? So once you have this, it's time to kind of start moving forward. And it means that our foundation is getting strong. Yay. Okay. So recap again. So now we know who we serve. We know what problem they have. We know what results they're going to get. We know how we're going to help them get those results. Now I want to come back to those 3 main problems that we talked about, because remember I told you that we would cover them as we're building our foundation. Here's how we covered that. The first problem that we had is, I don't know where to start. Well, we do now, right? Because who is your customer is the starting point. That is the starting point, not website, not logo. Nope. Who are you helping? Because everything else depends on that. Number 2, I don't know what my message is. Oh yeah, now you do, because now you know that topic or message that you're going to teach, right? Or you're going to coach on, or you're going to write a book on. And then I don't know if anyone cares about what I have. Oh yeah, if they have that problem and it's a must-have solution, they're going to care about what you're talking about. So those 3 main problems have a solution now. They have an answer here. Okay. Guess what? Congratulations. Okay. Look, it's hard to be able to start and finish something. And we have so many distractions right now. And the effect that you're here right now means you're hungry for this. So stick with it. We're almost done. I just want to go ahead and and talk about the $6,000 mistake I made when I got to this point. Okay. So I want you to really just think about that, because, oh gosh, yeah, $6,000 mistake. The first thing I did, I jumped right into creating a program. So I was like, oh, look, I know my topic. Yay, I'm going to help people. Let's do this. And then the second thing I did is I asked for feedback from unreliable sources. Okay. So let's talk about that. Why is jumping right into creating a program a mistake? Well, here are some analogies. I mean, before you buy a car, what do? You test drive it, right? Before a company releases their software out here, they do better testing, okay? Why? Because they want to make sure it works, okay? So, in other words, we need to make sure that your customer, the one you said, is actually struggling with the problem, the one that you mentioned, and is willing to pay for the results that you have. Jumping into creating before validating can be costly. Trust and believe, because you don't know if it's a truly a must have or a nice to have. And the second part is ask for feedback from reliable sources. Now, here's what happens here. Many first validate their business idea by asking their spouses, their family, their friends. Two issues with that. One, they will most likely tell you how wonderful it is because no one is out here trying to crush anyone's dream. And the other problem with that is if they're actually, so let's just say they will be candid and honest enough, but if they're not your ideal client, they're not able to really validate because it doesn't apply to them. So what ends up happening is the moment you start to ask complete strangers or potential customers, it can often become apparent that your market isn't willing to pay for this service. Okay, so I want to talk about my $6,000 mistake and how to avoid it. This is what I did. I got clear that I wanted to help busy on the go women bring back sanity in their lives, right? Isn't that like a thing, a real thing? Aren't we all losing our minds here because we're busy, because we have so much going on? So when I got that, I was so excited and I created my program. I had a name. I was like, oh, hello, Sanity, yay. I went and I enrolled in creating programs. I spent $6,000, 4 months of my life, because I had discovered who it is that I was helping, the problem, right? But guess what? I did not validate. I would ask my neighbors and my friends, I'd be like, hey, I'm thinking about this whole sanity thing. They're like, oh my gosh, yes, I need that. I'm losing my mind, right? Which was not a lie because they did feel like they're losing their mind. They felt like they needed their sanity. But the problem with validating that way, where you're not actually validating the strategic way, which I'll soon show you in a second here, is that that feedback doesn't really give you feedback. So once I spent all this money and spent all this time creating, when it was now time to sell, people were like, oh my gosh, that's such an amazing idea. But they were not showing you their credit card, because they're like, this is a nice to have. Look, I will go find my sanity in the park, honey. I am not paying for anything. You see? So that's what we're trying to avoid here. So validation. At this point, if you're crystal clear that your foundation is good, it's now time to test the foundation, right? Is the foundation strong enough? If you're really clear that, oh, I'm clear on who I'm serving, I know what problem it is, and I know the results, we have to validate. So this is what I'm going to do in terms of validation. I'm not going to get into all the details here because I would hate to overwhelm you at this point with everything that we've covered today. It would be absolutely tragic for me to start pouring things that will get you back into an overwhelmed state. But I'll give you a little snapshot to pick your curiosity and just to kind of give you the next step. So when it comes to validation, there are 5 validation strategies that I have created. And I dive deep when I teach in my program or when I consult or when I do my coaching. If followed, these strategies will help. They will help to ensure that you have a proven wanted idea in the marketplace. And that is truly solving an existing problem. Okay, so this is when you get to test how solid your foundation is for your house, so that once it passes the strong, solid foundation test, it is time to build and hit the ground running. So again, I'm just going to go over this and just kind of take it in, let it marinate. Don't worry about it, but just be here, okay? So competitor validation. This is the first order of business when it comes to validation strategies. And when we're talking about competitive validation, what you're trying to do here is to actually find a current market out there, a market that has people already paying for a program like your program, right? So that means finding competitors in similar niches who are selling to the market that you're after. And even if it's in a different country, you just want to see if it exists. So the best place to do that is going online, right? Now, here's the thing though, if you don't find not even one in the world doing something similar to what you want to do, that can be an indication, and it's often an indication that people are not willing to pay for it. It might be there as a free service. So you really want to look deep into that situation there. The second part is online marketing. Now, the online marketing validation, the objective here is to get some insight on what your client wants. What are they talking about around this issue? What language are they using in the groups they're in? What's the intel out there, right? So that's what this is about. And then viability calls. This is getting those ideal clients on the phone so you can actually start building a relationship, so you can have a voice behind the words and get some intel. And in most cases, that intel can end up being content in your program. That's exactly what happened with me. In fact, my ideal client was birthed from those calls. Okay. Number 4, financial validation. So ultimately, to be a successful business owner, entrepreneur, you need to be making money. And you also, in order to make money, you need to be helping real people solve real problems that are willing to pay for it, right? So if you have a real problem and no one is willing to pay, that's a problem if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, a business owner. The trap that most of us fall into when it comes here is we shortchange ourselves by undercharging, right? Because we fear rejection. So, and sometimes that can chip in your brand. So I want you to understand that what you're feeling is normal. We all have been there, but there are ways to circumvent that. There are strategies that we can use. Okay, so that's what financial validation is about. And the final one is validating your program. Now, at this stage, it means there's something that you're running, either if it's your coaching service, you're taking in clients for a pilot program and just ensuring that the results are happening as you have promised. So I have a document. There's a link in the description where you can download, where it goes a little deeper. It's got more detail in regards to these 5 validation strategies. So you can download that, okay? All right. Okay, so let's cover the certification that I promised you, okay? The first mistake I made was that I bought into the whole certification being necessary to become a coach. And the moment I did that, I equated that with confidence, credibility, and clients. And when I did not get that, I really got lost and stuck and frustrated because this is the thing that I thought would get me there, and it didn't. And I quickly found that there are different ways to get credibility, which one of the main ways is getting results for your clients. Okay. Now let's look at someone like Tony Robbins. Tony did not get certified by anybody. And he is one of so many of the greats and gurus in this industry who did not get certified. In fact, they now offer programs. And but what they did is they got results for their clients, and the clients started telling everybody. So that's really what you're aspiring to do, and so that once you get those results, people will tell others what happened. Now, with all that being said, I do not regret what I did, because dropping all that money that I dropped for the certifications that I have. It was a good investment in the sense that I got tools, I got to meet people and all that stuff. But if I could go back and shake myself awake, what I would say is that you do not want to do certification right away if your reason is to get clients, credibility, or confidence, because it won't give you that, right? So you don't want to get it for that purpose. And the second thing, you want to pay all those thousands of dollars with earnings from your business, okay? So I went through all those certifications and that didn't work. So what turned my business around? I got a coach. I got a one-on-one coach who I was able to see what coaching was about. So I became a believer, and I became more confident from that because I could see my life transforming through what he was doing. I could emulate what he was doing. I could see the business that he had built. So go get a coach that will give you resources that will train you, and your confidence will come from that. And you want to get a training program. Now, there's a difference between a training program and certification, because with training program it's very specific. So if sales is what you need right now, at that point you can go and get a sales training, and they're much more affordable, and usually your coach will have programs that come with that. And so that can get you that gets you ahead real quick. And then you go and get clients, and you're probably thinking, what? Clients? How? Well, here's how. The thing with getting clients is you're only going to get good when you start. And you even get better when they're paying, because you're both committed. This is not one of those things that you will get good at sitting on in a classroom, right? You have to go out there. The more you do, the more you get better, the more you learn, the more you get comfortable, and the more you build credibility, right? And that's gold. So you want to go out and start teaching people, and then get them results. And as you tweak your program, as you refine, you will be amazed at the progress that you will make. You'll be amazed at what an amazing coach you will become. And then after that, as you know more, you will know what certifications that you want to get certified, right? If you still do want to do, I have a couple actually that I'm going to get certified through. But guess what? Now I know exactly why I'm doing that, and I can pay with earnings for my business, right? So that's something to really think about. Yay! So that's it for the certification. I have a link in description that has a video that can take you to my to be or not to be certified video. All right, so final recap. Oh my gosh, this is exciting because we are building a foundation. All right. Okay, so this is where we're at. This is what we now know. We know who we serve. We know what problem we help them solve. We know what results they will get. And we know what we're going to teach them to get to those results. And we now know the strategies that we can use to validate that idea that we now have. Okay, so what are the next steps? And remember, in the beginning, I said one of the game changers, one of the things that pivots us to get to that success level is knowing what to do when. So, what is your next step? Now you've got choices, right? You can go and download. There are a few links that you're going to come across. You're going to be able to download the validation strategies, okay? Because that's the next step. You also have an option to reach out directly to us, right? So we can help you. This is faster because there's a specific game plan personalized to you and your needs right now. Of course, I will encourage you to go for the second option, because having been there, done that, it can become frustrating and draining when you keep trying something on your own and it's not working, and it feels like you're going in circles and going nowhere. And next thing you know, the year has passed. So I really want you to take advantage here. You're going to see at the end, there's a link in the description where you can click. There are two things you can do. You can click to schedule an appointment and we can get on the phone. Or maybe you're still not sure, right? Maybe you're like, look, I'm still here where I'm still thinking, flirting with the idea of leaving my 9 to 5. So I don't really want to get on the phone right now because I'm not even sure what I'm going to need from you. I got you covered. What you can do is take an assessment. There is an assessment link where you go. It's going to help you if you're at that stage. And then after you take the assessment, there's an option to request for a personalized video. And I will record a personalized video for you within 24 to 48 hours of you sending that request. And then at that point, I can help you with the clarity or help you with whatever it is that you're needing to move forward. Okay, so I have all of you here covered. Option 1, you can go and download the strategy, the validation strategies, and try to do them on your own. Option 2, you can take the faster, easier way to come on a free call a game plan call where we set a game plan for you. And this is not a sales call. This is a game plan. I'm in the service business, right? I'm here to serve you. Of course, I have programs. And if I see that it works for you, I will tell you about it. And there's no obligation there. So that's the truth. However, the objective here is to get you moving, to get you momentum so we can start bricking our home, right? Put layering those bricks. We got to do this because people are out here waiting for you to come and serve them. So I just want to take this time to say thank you so much. I really appreciate that you were here. I am excited for you. It's exciting. Think about it. You're about to build a home. You're looking at that ground and your foundation is there. They're getting ready to test and see if that foundation is solid and the bricks will start coming. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. So thank you again. And I am looking forward to hearing back from you. I am looking forward to hearing back from you. Now, I'll end on this. Whatever you do, stay in action, keep moving because greatness lives in you. You have so much that people are out here waiting for, and you can absolutely do it. You can do it. You can do it. So let's go get this done. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Bye.